protected it. Nicely, and he evaporated.
Oh, Kisei! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LCO delivered by Menulog. We've got some damn good games on the menu tonight. 3 of them already done though, so we're up to the dessert. And I hope you're ready because there is some action around the corner. There's so many big games, so many potential upsets, which didn't quite happen. But look, we still had fun in the process. There was a lot of entertainment, a lot of crazy stuff. And this 4th and final game could also deliver. There's definitely potential for some more entertainment. Mammoth, they just need to bring the thunder up against Order. And I feel like Order, they might be ready for this. So let's have a look at the roster. You know him, you love him. And we got Hooper still. So no Puma again today, but this man impressed all of us yesterday. Young superstars. We got a few of them now in the LCO.
I mean, we had 2 games so far from Hooper. Game number 1, he went crazy at a Drake fight, which is nuts just because he is such a young player. It felt like he had confidence, never missed a beat, and had an exceptional first game. I think it was 0-5 in his second game, however, and really did struggle with the pressure they were putting onto him. So we've seen 2 different sides of Hooper so far. However, it's both been wins for Order. They're one of the only 2 teams last week that had a 2-0 week.
They certainly were. So even though we had a rough game, still got the W over the line. Now let's see if they can do that again today up against Mammoth, who, of course, are still playing with me crew there in mid. They've been, look, sometimes they look great, sometimes they don't. I don't know where to place them, but at the same time, they could still be in the conversation for playoffs. They just need to find that consistency, Skimmy.
They certainly do, but they certainly find a lot of consistency in getting away with Corky Kale and just getting to a late game where they just win games.
Yeah.
So that is their consistency for me. Voice and IG have always excited me because they're certainly a very aggressive bot lane. If we're talking about Hooper being...
Sorry.
Okay. If we're talking about, you know, Hooper being put under a little bit of pressure like he was up against Kanga and how well Lemus has been playing so far, I think Voice and LEG can certainly look to try and form a similar argument. They've already admitted, Voice himself said, right, like, I like to play early aggressive champions. I don't want to AFK scale. So it's going to be another lane dominant performance. Could be a really exciting bot lane to watch again.
It certainly could be. And look, last time they went head-to-head, Order took the dub. Mammoth, unfortunately, couldn't keep it close. Was this wasn't the first Me Crew game, but I think it was one of the first where he...
I believe this was his second game.
So, oh no, this is the Mayfan Shyvana. Didn't actually know how to build Shyvana, but picked it and got roasted on broadcast by me, but also on Twitter by Balkan. So, look, that happened, and yeah, just unfortunate circumstances.
This was the dragon stacking comp. They said we're going to draft Shyvana and draft every single lane to ensure we can get a dragon, and then they got all 3, and then they never got the 4th.
Also another notorious Penta denied game.
Yeah.
One of many. It's almost becoming impossible to remember which one at this point.
How are we going to celebrate the first Penta when we actually get one? Because we need to come up with something big. So
we need some flags.
Teased.
We need some flags, all like confetti and like...
Got a couple of flags up
just,
the back
just
there.
wave everything and put some hats on and whee! Turn off the lights and have a bit of a party.
Are they behind your head? Yeah, we got some flags. The pride flags.
The lights just go in and out, strobing a word. It's like
yeah, we could make that happen.
It's a bit wild up here.
That's what we're doing at DreamHack.
Remember,
that's why you need to be at DreamHack.
Remember when we got Nocturne altered?
On stage,
we could just sit here and just get Nocturne altered like on and off. That'd be fun.
That could be fun.
It could be.
I won't know till it happens.
Either way, look, let's get back to the game.
Okay.
I just get real excited for pentakills. Now, we're looking at many different lanes here. I feel like, you know, the bottom could be very interesting. I'm liking this idea of Hoop up against Voice because Voice, you've heard him in the interviews, he's just going to keep fighting because he knows he's the win condition and just wants to push forward, wants to take as many engagements as possible. And it's a really good opportunity for Hooper to prove his worth.
Biggest thing for me that I found statistically for Voice is he actually has the highest percentage of his team's overall damage as well as the highest percentage of gold from his team in the entire league. So like he truly is the win condition more so than anybody else in the entire league for their team. So if he gets ahead, usually the odds are very much stacked in Mammoth's favor.
Very true. Attention! It's the Papton. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you.
You're doing. That's what I love to hear. You ready for the game?
I mean, I may as well be. Yeah. I don't know. I'm a bit fired up now. I got the salutes. That's new. I'm keen.
Yeah.
You know, Pat Price is ready for the game, but I definitely wasn't ready for that intro. So you guys are going against the new order tonight where we have Hooper in the bot lane. So where are you guys looking to shut down this new team?
I think it's the same thing every game. Just hope voice carries. Maybe we get Kale and Inns to win the game. Who knows?
Maybe, I feel like it's a coin flip whether you get Kale, because some people say, look, we'll give you the respect ban. Other people say, look, I think we can beat it. We can just pick Nasus. But then when they do pick Nasus, you somehow still just come out on top anyway because they decided team fight. Now, Order, it's an interesting one. Do you guys have any opinions on Hooper from what you saw last week?
Yeah, Hooper's looking pretty strong. I think it helps that he's on strong teams, so he's not pressured to perform at an extremely high level, but he is performing regardless.
He is indeed. We've seen some like pretty funky gameplay coming out of the new player. And I do want to mention that you guys have been leaning towards a lot of Kale and Corki in the mid lane where you guys draft a lot of scaling, including Mikru. So will we see more of that tonight, or is that just Mammoth's identity for now?
I mean, yeah, if Kale's open, we're just going to pick it. I don't think there's any issues with us just picking it and winning the game for free. Like, it's worked every time, so...
Yeah, it's part of the game. Get your dubs, you know. If they give it to you, they give it to you. It's their choice. Now, at East Soldier, we're going to let you go get ready. Good luck today.
Good luck.
Thank you. Salute.
Beautiful. Did you like that one?
You're wild
did you-
today.
I'm
Yes.
loving it. I'm all for
Like,
this.
you just don't know what you're going to get today.
I'm getting dragged into this.
You're just straight
Yeah.
on the board. You don't mess around.
I don't know. It's like
I'm
my
like
mind's
Skittles.
telling me no, but my
But you've got to, you know? Like,
Yeah.
gotta match the vibe. You know?
Yeah,
He's
you could've
just
played
like,
that.
oh, yeah, oh, get me out of here, bro. right there. But as I mentioned, M&M's, Skittles, whatever you want, I'm like them. You never know what you're going to get, which color, which game. It's kind of like some of the teams in our league, right? Like some days they're just like the best team, and then other days it's like, I really don't want to win today, do they? But then they somehow stumble across the line. Either way, Twitch points. You've spent heaps of them today. You've probably won and also lost heaps of them today. I saw a game earlier where it was like the Gravitas game. I think they had like 19 or like 23% or something like that. So they had a lot of fans dropping bombs in there, really believing. And I want you all to believe in both these teams. I feel like it's probably like 60-40, maybe 75-25 towards Order for me. So let's bring up our predictions, have a quick look at if we're all on the same page here. We are. Okay, let's see if we can all ride or die together again.
Did you know, Mac? It's actually International What If Day. Because what if Gravitas won? What if Kanga beat Chiefs? And what if Mammoth can upset Order?
Is it actually? I didn't actually look at the days.
Well, I just made it up, Mac. I just want to sound cool like you.
Yeah, oh, don't tell people. Now the
sorry,
illusion's
bro.
gone.
Leak the script.
Damn. Anyway, are you guys on the same page as me? Like 75-25, or how much of a chance are you giving Mammoth here?
So what? So Order at the top of the mess, Mammoth at the bottom of the mess. This is actually
Yeah.
a massive win for Mammoth. I'm going to say like, actually going to say 70-30.
Okay.
I would actually say that today, a lot of people came into today thinking it was going to be a lot of one-sided matches because it was
Yeah.
top teams versus the bottom teams. But I'm pretty sure all the games except the first one have went to 30 minutes where it was like two of the best teams getting challenged by bottom teams. So I'm not I'm kind of expecting a longer game. Maybe Mammoth is able to pull out with that Kale.
True. I feel like Order's the kind of team that would definitely just let it through because they think they can win. Like Bio's the kind of guy to be like, hey, I'ma just beat the Kale, you know? He knows what to do.
yeah, he'll also have an answer for every champion ever, and just something that you've not expected to see. He'll just find a way. Maybe he plays Silas top for the first time.
True. We also have
okay.
seen Order pick Nasus before.
Yeah,
Wasn't
they've-
in the
they've
top.
two Nas. No, it has been as well. There's been.
Oh, he has two.
Order's the only team that has played it in 2 lanes.
Yeah, true.
They've got a support and top, so you do have to respect that flex.
Okay.
Paprise is shaking.
Really is. Now, are we expecting a bit of a diffy in the jungle? Are we expecting Goodo to perform today, or do we sort of want Mayfan to pull something out that isn't a Shyvana? Because I think no matter what he does, he's going to have a better performance than last time.
Current Goodo's really good.
He's been certainly
Yeah.
in really well, I'd say. I
Yeah.
think he's definitely found his place in the team, and the team certainly worked around him quite well.
Last time was Udyr from memory. He actually handled the Udyr better than what we've seen so far in the LCO. It was actually really good.
And I guess we haven't touched on mid either. Mikru, Kisei. It's going to be a
Just give me
interesting
assassins.
one.
Just give me assassins. Give me a Yone battle. Give me more LeBlanc. Give me more 1v9 performances.
Well, guess what? It's time to check what assassins are there, who's playing what, because Champ Select's ready. I eat my 5 gum while we go sit in the green room.
Bye. All right.
The hover of Nasus. We're right to champ select.
We are right into Champ Select, and Mammoth on blue side, ready to rock and roll. See what they decide to lock in as their pick. Off preference, or they've actually banned away the Kale. Not going to leave that one up for chance. So, but it really is a day of Seraphine. Last week was Lucian. This week is Seraphine. 4 from 4.
Okay, yeah, so Seraphine gets locked in. That is 4 blue side Seraphine games, I think. On this game, one was red side because it was not prioritized. But no, it was blue side. 4 blue side games. Lots of champions still up. You saw the comical hovers of the Nasus from Mammoth. They are fully aware of what Order could play.
Shout out, Kevy.
And Goodo, of course, yeah, giving a shout out to the Kevlin monster. Kalista going to be an early lock-in here for Order. We really have come around, and it's funny because it feels like we've hit meta like 3 weeks late as Bio's looking
He's looking
good.
fresh, isn't he?
Yeah.
All right, getting ready for playoffs.
Got the drip.
Got a necklace on and everything. He's balling out.
You like to see it. Of course, it is going to be the Kalista and the Wukong this time around. Viego's still up, but Mammoth are going to prioritize the Graves. This is actually one of those comps that I was mentioning earlier in the day during like a PGG draft, where you can go for Graves with Seraphine if your Seraphine's going to be mid and you want to carry in the jungle role.
Sure.
To compensate for, you know, the lack of perhaps DPS that shows up in mid. Seraphine's still okay for DPS, but you want to have a carry somewhere. Could be top, could be jungle. If they lock this in, then it could be both. Or it could be a Seraphine bot lane.
Dad, it just default back to it.
The funny thing about Voice and Seraphine is that I don't like it. Skimmy, the reason I don't like it is because I think Voice is too crazy to be on Seraphine. I think that he wants to do more than Seraphine lets him do.
Agree. Yeah, it certainly feels like a champion that kind of restricts his ability to be fully unleashed. What I will say quickly, as we look to see what Order respond with, is that's now 6 games in a row of Corki for Meat Crew.
Yeah, I mean, he's just
6.
continue to pick it. It is not a contested champion. It is not a pick or ban champion, except for Mammoth, as they will pick themselves the Kale and Corki every single time it is up. They believe in the scaling. Even if Mammoth don't play around Corki's poke, they believe in the scaling. As the Ashe
That's interesting.
gets
Look at
banned away. Seraphine Ashe is a nightmare duo.
I was going to say, look at Voice's reaction. And like they know.
Which makes me think that Order are aware that it could be Ali G playing it. And it could be a farming Ashe, or it could also be a support Ashe, which does exist.
Does
and I'm
work.
a firm advocate of when I want to make my opponents hate playing League of Legends real
I
quick.
do love doing that in ARAM.
But a Nautilus is already locked in, so it's interesting that they pick something that can handle it really nicely. I just don't want to give the Ashe Seraphine combo.
No, Sonata just looking to try and deny away some matchups that could make Mikuru's life a little bit difficult. Azir seems to be one of those common ones, right? Outrange them, just with a ton of harass, and also the Silas as well to try and steal away a lot of really
Like
good
Order
ultimates.
can legitimately still play LeBlanc.
Yep.
And have a really strong 2v2 mid-jungle. Order's the only team that has played the LeBlanc this split. Be hyper-aggressive through their mid-jungle. They've also got a super aggressive bot lane 2v2 already.
There it is. We love to see it. Kisei fully on the carry train. It did a lot of work last time. Gave him the MVP.
Without a doubt.
Time to shine once again.
The interesting thing here for Order is just waiting to see how they finish off their comp. Right now, it is 4 incredibly forward-moving, aggressive champions. Mammoth have decent kite already with Corki's long range, with Seraphine's peel back. For their composition, that is absolutely the path that they could choose to take and double down on if they wanted to, right? They could just be more of a long-range bombardment and just group up as 5 with the Seraphine and just throw things at you until it works, play around objectives. Order right now much more needing to engage, looking for harass and poke, and LeBlanc can be strong, could drop off, depending on how strong the Seraphine gets.
And this is the question now, though. Do you deny the Sejuani, lock it in yourself, or go for the Gnar instead?
You know
That's what he's up
really
for.
good is Olaf pop. That is like such a niche call out, but like you just run through Seraphine's ult. Just keep going. Like at full speed.
That'll be Master Yi soon enough.
Plenty of options for Order to play top lane. They see the Gnar matchup. Depends how much you want to counter it in lane or team fights, how you want to play. It does seem like they're going to lock in this Malphite, so it gives them yet another source of all-in engage.
Certainly does. If we want a day of explosive gaming, then we have certainly got it here tonight. Final pick and Malphite. certainly should be able to shrug off a lot of the pressure in a top jungle gank. And really is going to be fairly rock solid to start the fight up to make Godo's life even easier.
Also sees a physical damage mid-jungle and a scaling AP damage mid-laner, so there's plenty of early armor to be purchased by BioPanther to survive his way through the laning phase. So could be having a very good time up there for himself. Godo also relishes in all of the AD champions with the armor that he can have. Seraphine and Corki, though, going to be quite influential factors. There is still an abundance of magic damage across the board. It is not going to be as simple as previous games today where you can just stack one damage resistance type. Order well and truly saying that they're going to put their best foot forwards with a couple of really strong picks. One extremely infamous pick, I think suffice to say, with a certain support lock-in.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one.
We're just not going to reference
MSI happened many, many moons ago, okay? We've already forgotten about what happened there. I will say, though, it's a very characteristic order comp. Imagine if it's, Puma versus the world. We've certainly seen comps built like this before. They have a bunch of tanks, a bunch of engage, and Puma just 1v9. So you've now got Hooper coming in, who had a phenomenal debut. Young, very talented. Certainly had moments where he could have been certainly nervous, but performed when it mattered most.
And here's the thing, right? No matter how egregious of a mistake your support makes, when you have a Callista, you just rip them back. It's like the opposite Yumi, It
is.
Instead of them being stuck to where you're moving, you just pull them back if they make a mistake.
I've seen the angles.
Yeah, the leash is one way to look at it.
Yep. The babysitting leash, the dog leash. Come back here. You're getting a little bit too big for your boots there. And that's not a fight that we really want to take. So that's what I find cool, right? Stylistically, you can change the AD carry, but you can't change the team itself. Order certainly almost feels like they found their way, their sort of success pattern, if you will, ramping up right on time, really, for those playoffs. But I think Mammoth has certainly laid down the gauntlet and showcased that, hey, we're going to be running it back once again with the Seraphine. They obviously played the Seraphine Pike, and that was exactly how it fared out in last time.
And Seraphine and Rakan, of course, has a lot of utility between each other. Even the Rakan passive shield that he gets allows Seraphine to just heal on site. Right, lots of nice interactions there, lots of good engage, lots of possibilities for Mammoth, with still some strong scaling options in the team, but they need to weather the Order storm.
They certainly do, as we load in for the final game of day 1, week number 7. Big chance here for both of these teams. Order, as we mentioned, at the top of the mess, where all these teams are vying for that second place position, and Mammoth just on the outskirts, down at the bottom, but very keen to sneak their way in. We've got Ash on the line, ready to talk all things Mammoth, really. And Ash, I have to say, last time we were just discussing, obviously, a few similarities in this draft to that one as well, but last time, big emphasis on a soul point comp for Shyvana. Would you say objective control really is your key to success in sort of claiming a lot of these wins?
Honestly, I think the key to success more depends on who we're playing against. For example, I'll give Direwolves as an example. Like, they love Zoranus. More often than not, they'll give him counterpick, so they're more likely to have the stronger top side to play around, which would give us access to the bot side, so we'd stack those dragons. In terms of specifically versus Order, they're a lot more adaptable and they're better at playing both sides of the map than a team like Direwolves, so it largely just comes down to the draft prep that we prepare for the day, and whatever variation of that we end up in.
Well, talk to me about this draft, because I was mentioning before the fact that Mikru's now had 6 games of Corki in a row. Is it almost comical at this point that he keeps being given this champion?
Look, sometimes the champion's just too good, People keep giving it to us. It's like the Kale. Same thing for Mr. Pat. We just keep giving it to him.
It doesn't miss. It's worked a treat, absolutely. It's certainly salvaged you a lot of wins so far today. Well, Ash, I'm really excited to see how this one fares on out, so best of luck.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one, guys.
There's a certain comedy in that Corki is too good as Kisei takes away 2/3 of his health at level 1. There's a really big thing to call back to here. We mentioned this last game that Order played. I originally saw this watching Xiaohu in the LPL, but his LeBlanc tech has been utilized twice, where he starts Sweeper, he finds a ward, clears it to get level 2 on the first wave, and basically solo wins mid lane as a result. This is something that we've seen yet again from Kisei back-to-back. It always starts at level 1. I would encourage you to go back and just watch what Kisei does early, as it's a really nice strategy to win mid lane in general, right? Using a Sweeper to get an experienced lead. And as far as I've seen, he's the only one that actively does it every time.
Let's see if we can actually do anything to try and back up Goodo here, as Paprise is going to be able to meander his way from top inside this jungle, where that red buff is now being contested. Goodo going to try and get that one, but it has been secured by Mayfan, so both junglers now have a double buff. Mayfan still looking to reload and press on forward. Now going to get wrapped upon by Kisei and realize that, hey, my Na's already disengaged away, so I need to run top side. Down to bot lane we look as well. Looks like Mammoth got the better end of a trade.
Yeah, they are starting to ease their way into the war of attrition. Hook's on though.
Great hook though, Nash's kill pressure. That's Voice instantly having to flash away. Hooper's still getting excited. Keep the fight on through. Smoke screen goes down. It really is just constant pressure, constant fighting all across the map. A Mikru, a level 3 Corki rocks up and says, here's a Gatling gun. Forces out the clone. But can they get the kill?
The clone's blocking the Graves auto attacks.
Oh, I don't know if they can. Kisei's going to jump on in, and that is just first blood as easy as you like it. Goodo going to jump across the wall now with double buff. Still going to be able to try and run you down. And cops the flash.
I mean, Kisei actually also stole the Scuttle Crab. So the thing that you don't get to see at the very start of that skirmish is that LeBlanc just walks up, takes everything from you, and the salty chase down by Mayfan ends up dropping with flash up. I mean, that is absolutely some blinders on, just playing tunnel vision on the man who took my Scuttle Crab. But at the end of the day, that is kind of the onset of a play that starts from a red buff contest. The fact that Mayfan used his smite on it means that the pressure from Order there in response was really nice. And resulting in first blood for the jungler means that that red buff steal just gets completely brought back and some into the jungle of Order.
And back to your original point about what Kisei's done here to try and assert his dominance in this lane, it almost feels like the perfect start 5 minutes in for him.
I mean, right now he has genuine kill threat at all times in mid, even without the ignite, you know, just pressuring the health that's there. Mayfan, level 3 on Graves. If he shows on mid to try and crash and clear this wave out, he also probably dies because you've got Goodo hovering. So Kisei is actually putting on a clinic right now in mid lane, just showing all of these players how to play it out. Protecting, or if not protecting, compensating for his jungler and finding advantages where he can. Ali G is now going to walk mid to make sure this crashes, and the teleport was also used by Mikru. All things considered, very happy with this transaction if you are Order, and quite well ahead, honestly. Only 5 minutes in, 1,000 gold is a lot.
It is a lot of gold at this point of the game, absolutely. And Order right on time with the dragon spawning. Wasted no time to claim that first dragon to be there. So Ocean Drake under their control. Be interesting to see if they put the same amount of pressure and control towards that first Herald as well. Kisei certainly going to make life difficult here for the Mikru, in that the Corki will once again get punished.
Makes you wonder how close Kisei will be to level 6, as both solo laners are 5, but looking at top lane, the solo experience from Paprise has given him 6. So I'm expecting off this wave that you're seeing, including the cannon, would be able to tick over that threshold, which means that Mikru needs to be extremely careful. Now going to recall top lane as well. It's just really hard to look away from mid, because you know at any point Mikru dies. Has to probably, at this stage, rush Hex Drinker. First item after the tier, or could just be at risk of being snowballed out of control. There's an early little health trade there from Kisei. If there was a bone plating, it would have gotten rid of that one. No resolve tree from Mikru means it is very hard to trade in this lane. Something that could have been perhaps changed in the rune page if we're going to go really micro while I'm just staring down mid aggressively, is you can actually go bone plating. You don't get to control the times that you trade, but it helps you with it up to take better trade windows and control minion waves.
Also, the best example would be what you're seeing for Paprise, right? Fleet footwork into second wind, into Doran Shield and Pots. I mean, you're just instantly regenerating every kind of damage that comes your way. The buff going to be contested right now, but a lot of pressure being put towards Mammoth to protect that one, so Mayfan can get himself his own buff. And can get himself ever so close now to level 6 as well. I
like this from Mammoth as well, right? Protect your jungler. It's the way you have to play. Bot's now 10 odd CS behind it. It's going to consistently stay there, but it's more important that Mayfan stays even than it is that you get ahead bot lane.
So he can afford to fall a few items behind as the Seraphine, right? You can get that one core item online. The Leandries is there. You're pretty content with that one for the meantime. Perhaps a Rylai's comes on later on through.
You know what wouldn't surprise me here as well, Skimmy? And it's very, like, I feel like we've seen so much order now ever since, you know, watching MSI coming back to regular season that you can get a kind of read on how they want to play.
Sure.
But these waves crashing, I wouldn't have been surprised if Biopanther tried to have a roam mid with his Malphite.
It's a classic.
You know, look for a potential dive. Goodo's able to hover with this red buff up, and Kisei has first move if something were to happen, so Mayfire needs to be here simply to protect. But I think the Scuttle Crab being there might have dissuaded.
Oh, he's very unfortunate there not to hit the chains because he hit the ignite. That was lethal. Right in his nose, under turret.
And it's a Corky's life right now. Differences that can be made from just hitting level 2 first. There's actually a ward going to be placed here by order at the Rift Herald to see if it's being done, just because they have no vision elsewhere. Goodo could get over the wall and squeak this one out, not being seen, but he's actually about to face check a ward. He did see it.
Question becomes now for Mammoth, do they want to try and prevent this Herald, or do they want to put all their attention towards this next Drake? Because package is up at 10. Still need to buy yourself another whole minute. Mayfarn, seemingly not interested in that whatsoever. He's going to beat himself a Nautilus in the jungle, hit the blast cone. And that's about it.
Corporal walks over a control ward and then continues to walk over the control ward. I think prioritizing perhaps his movement towards the Herald. If they were to walk through mid to contest it, surely he knows it's there.
Nothing worse than
There's
auto-pathing.
just no way
And your camera's not even
he
looking there.
didn't see it. I think he walked over it twice. Skimmy, 2 times.
And given the benefit of the doubt, camera may have been panned elsewhere. Perhaps at the Herald as he's auto-pathing towards it. Otherwise, that is the most valuable ward Mammoth will ever plant. Happy days for them. Money well spent. But will it net them anything of value? It was 30 seconds now. They didn't mount an assault for that Herald, so first 2 objectives have gone the way of order. Mammoth in the area.
Looking bottom, hook goes wide. They also had the collapse potentially there from Mikru, who can go back to base now. So a health trade with mid is really good. Push this wave in, maybe even set up for the Drake as a result.
Low on mana, so he's going to try and burn through as many of these rockets as he can. Got a big one loaded up and ready to use to keep that wave in mid. But Goodo's just going to pop his head into the lane and realize, well, that dragon's not been touched, so I'm under really no threat whatsoever.
The control ward is actually the MVP.
It's still there.
The MVP.
I'm telling you, that's the best gold you ever spend.
Spots Goodo.
PSA squaring up another 1v1. And also, Bio with the last stretch of his mana hits the wheel and a flash pound as Paprise too slow to answer back.
Yeah, the flash slap from Biopanther just claps down Paprise. Really nice kill, and that's into the Merc Treads, that's into the Gnar that is built to not die. Just gets picked apart. Mini Gnar still so fragile. Order, no hesitation. They will hit themselves the Drake. They will lock down the Hextech Drake. An easy 2-0 in regards to those objectives as well. No contest so far from Mammoth at all. Extremely passive from Mammoth. You know they want to scale into the game. But this is very passive.
Kisei's got a kill angle in about 10 seconds. Ultimate will be available. And with Ignite, he's got everything available to try and take down Mikru here. In he goes. That's connected. No, not going to commit.
Yeah, he's not choosing to go for all-in kill threat. He's more so just looking to use the W to close distance and is mimicking. That is a kill threat.
There it is. We saw it. Everyone, I think, saw it.
Yeah.
And Mikru just falls victim to it again.
And that's it, right? The initial trade isn't for kill threat, it's to do damage. Finds the angle, does an even health trade. LeBlanc has that all-in threat. Like I spoke about, there's a world that you probably go for Hex Drink, I think. If you've considered that your current rune tree isn't really about survivability in lane, you probably do want to spend the extra money to survive in lane against an Ignite LeBlanc. She's gone Ignite, you have to pay your taxes.
Yeah.
You know? But ends up falling down. Luden's now completed for this LeBlanc as well, and Manamune is not any kind of scaling choice. Or rather, immediate strength choice, right? It has to get Muramana before it's procced and is very good. Order just continue to just small margins, piece by piece, push further ahead.
No small margins certainly are adding up in the big picture here. And giving Order something to feel very confident about. Now, Corporal is going on for a bit of a roam. That means that Hooper's forced to burn the flash.
Hooper freaks out, yeah.
He's not happy about that at all.
Nah, just uses the flash, just gets caught out there, but I think just assumed that he might die, perhaps.
Certainly better safe than sorry.
I mean, he passes a reflex test.
Here's the Bio Roam. He's looking for Meat Crew. And thankfully for him, that Valkyrie's just enough distance to run away out of his range. Now, the Herald is going to get summoned. Paprise is going to rotate up here as well. Close to Mega. Blast Code himself into safety. The whole of Order swarming through mid to guarantee that this charge will go on through. There's some guaranteed plate money.
And they will get the plates that they're after. Order will just walk back towards their regular lanes. Mammoth will dissuade the play, but ultimately it is still a success. And it goes towards mid lane successfully. It's interesting they don't choose a side lane. They want to break an outer turret straight away. Hooper very happily farming, though he did just use his flash. It's about freeing up this LeBlanc on the map. The more LeBlanc can get to side lanes with Wukong, the happier they will be. Order now with the first. I feel like the first real deployment outside of laning phase of the game here from them. You could see that they are moving through mid primarily as a team, but they're going to have to answer their ways before they get to do any kind of team play first and foremost. And Rift held up in a minute 20. I feel like that's where everything comes to a head for them.
Absolutely, and you'd love to see Mammoth, try and answer back with something, because we've yet to see the package. That's been left in base for the meantime. Perhaps they're just waiting for that item spike to say that we feel relatively strong enough now to try and mount an assault with that package available for us. The level 6 available for the supports too. Maybe level 11 is the magical number for these solo laners. We look to try and square out a fight in mid lane. Rocket misses. Mikru cops a fair beating.
Yeah.
Even in a 3v1, it's Kisei pushing forward.
This is a couple of times we've seen today, players baiting because their team are nearby, but just it's not going to help you, right? Like, there's just too much damage. They're going to tank a turret shot just to see if you can stop the recall. Package still going to be there, though. 30 seconds until Herald 2. Surely, Mammoth pick it up for this objective. I don't think you can go through 15 minutes of the game without grabbing the package once, because then it just starts to become a waste.
There it is.
He's opted out and will lose his first turret mid.
Just been left for another day. So you'd love to see it get utilized for one of these objectives to make sure it's on timer for it.
Is it the next Drake? Is he going to come mid?
Well, if it's not the Herald, surely.
Is he going to come mid, push one wave, recall, get it? Like, what exactly is the plan here for Mammoth? When do they want to do something?
It's not at Mikru. Please disengage away to these Raptors. He's going to disengage straight.
But he did just use his W. Nautilus could easily flash ult over the wall now. No flash there. I don't know if they have the timer. Either way, the Herald is being done at the same time, and they don't want to go too far forwards here in mid. I feel like we really are just talking about mid this entire game, but for what it's worth, what has the side laner done? there's just been a bit of movement from supports, but all supports are hovering mid. Top lane, there was a solo kill, but in reality, they're just farming.
I mean, Mayfarm's just been farming up a storm.
Yeah,
Bio just gets a cheeky solo kill.
Just bing chilling.
Hooper burn a flash, that's about it.
Yeah, Hooper flashed. Crazy. We're just waiting to get to team fights. All right, he's got his package.
So here we go. So that's what we'd love to see. It would be utilized for that Drake. So 2 acquired by Order. Time to answer back with a 3rd.
Ooh, doesn't stop the recall.
OG will be upset he didn't stop that one. But the rest of Order have gone back to base.
That's timing to start the Drake for free here, though. Order just choosing not to contest it. So be it. For what it's worth, I do feel like... Okay, that's also very odd package usage. Order are going to sacrifice the free win condition, right, of just rushing 4 Drakes back-to-back is the big takeaway. And the composition of Mammoth does still scale really well into this game. So it's one of those situations where you can look at it and say, is it worth grouping up anyway and actually fighting the package Corki composition? Because it maybe is worth it instead of letting them get to, 2 items, 3 items, level 16 for these individual champions. I think Order are just really confident in themselves. They're not too worried. Right, Callista's one of those champs that is strong early, but at 2 items is a monster. LeBlanc at 2 items with a Void Staff as well is terrifying. They're just going to pick their battles.
Kisei hits the tab check, must be looking and seeing still a very vulnerable Corki. No magic resist still. Picked himself up with Vamp, stepped here. Seemingly going towards
Shield Bow.
Shield, okay.
Yeah. So instead of like the Luden's Echo build, it's the Shield Bow to survive the burst.
We're going old school. Oh, Mayfarm That's a flash into a thankful dash across that wall to safety. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it's just one of the other options that a Corki has, right? You can go Mune into shield bow. One other option is that you go your normal Luden's build, but you slow it down a lot by going for a Hex Drinker or more.
Wondering if there's ever a world in which you go Leandry's, 3 tanks perhaps, for the poke from afar if you do want to try and play hyper tank shred.
That's true. You've got a Leandry's Seraphine though, and we're not on the patch where that stacks, so you probably don't want to double down on that.
That makes sense.
But yeah, we're going to go for the OG build, I suppose it is. A bit more survivability, a bit more sustain. A bit less damage though from the rockets, more auto attack focused. Otherwise you're not going to be utilizing the attack speed in the build accordingly.
Back in my day, Corki
Back
used to be
in
an
my
80 carry.
Back in my day, 80 carries were mid-skimmy. The best play you could make was an Ashe ultimate and then teleport to the lane you ulted.
That was the play. Good flash away. Voice was in trouble. In goes Kisei. A Terror in the night. He just pops out of a bush and you instantly have to run. Another Herald utilized and another turret going down. Unanswered so far here by Mammoth, and Order still pressing forward. Corki threads the needle, or rather Corporal threads the needle, but it's a massive encore. That means the Fate's Call has to come out. Hooper sends his support packing.
The teleport comes through as well from Paprise, so they're able to just walk back top lane and take the turret. The desperate force attempt here from Paprise, acknowledging that it's not been good.
It's not a flash attempt. No, you don't burn that for sure.
Yeah, just trying to see if he can find something. You can watch Biopanther at this stage, right? Just walk top, catch the wave, push the next one in. If he keeps Paprise busy, the next Drake's free for Order as well, just because the duration of that teleport cooldown is quite large. There are still 2 extra teleports on the side of Mammoth, but one of those is also on cooldown here in Voice. Goodo engaging.
Goodo going in. He didn't manage to steal away that blue buff, but he'll thankfully steal away 2 kills instead onto the blue members. He's taken down the enemy jungler, who's been farming up a storm, but delivered him his second death.
Kill secured. Top lane turret secured as well. So far, it really has just been the Infernal Drake in the hands of Mammoth. Excuse me, I will say this is not a Kayle Corki scaling. It is a Corki. It is a Seraphine. But it is not the supreme late game, no matter what, will win type of fallback. And Order is still, you know, edging further and further ahead in this game. 5,000 gold 20 minutes in is significant. Staring down another free objective for them, you would have to say. 2 items done for Hooper on his Callista can be an absolute teamfight demon. And I still feel like it needs to be brought into question. Is this too slow? Right, and I'm not going to answer the question. I'd just rather leave it as a question because it's more fun that way.
You can let the Twitch analyst type up a storm. See what they come to with a conclusion.
You know what I will say is one of the differences between working at home, Mikru is in trouble.
He's in a lot of trouble. Look at that.
Anyway.
Oh no. Anyway. What were you going to say? Working from home.
One of the biggest differences between our year and a half that we did at home to being in studio is that we don't get to interact with the Twitch chat as much as we have in the past.
That is true.
We don't get to see them anymore. So would be nice if you would interact with us on social media instead. Then we can communicate there. We don't see you anymore.
No, we don't. And we don't see Mayfarn anymore because he's gone as well. So Kisei has put his eggs in the basket of a bot lane and walked away with 2. Very happy for him. 2 major items complete. A very scary LeBlanc, only 21 minutes in.
And still just commanding that, right? Really waiting to see when Mammoth choose to wake up, when they're activated.
He did actually go for the Ravenous Hydra, Rusty. That's really surprising.
Yeah, it is.
I haven't really seen people go for that item second.
I think actually, if memory serves correct, Mikru has done this most games. Where most Corkis will go for the Luden second, I'm pretty sure Mikru's gone for Ravenous Hydra second every game he's played on the Corki. And we'll go for the Luden's third, which I think is like the original Luden's Echo build. Ali Gina, the Spot of Bother will be fine because he'll dash away. I think the reason that you can go for this build is because you get to do a little bit more auto attack based damage. The Corki's rockets pre-16, but in general, they scale better with AD over AP. But lacking on the magic pen is one of the bigger factors on why you really feel like you're lacking in damage with this Corki build. So it doesn't have Stalk Shoes, doesn't have Luden for the Mythic passive, so he's lacking on a lot of just base damage. So any bit of magic resistance that exists from Order just kind of removes Corki from being relevant. But his auto attacks do a bit more, and the base damage of the rockets is a bit high. And AoE, of course, you've got extra wave clear,
Also the
extra
splash,
sustain,
wave
you know,
clear,
the
for
obvious
sure.
things that come from Hydra.
For sure, for sure. How you mentioned, does ring a bell. Clearly been looking at far too many Corki builds.
It's nice to be able to
little bit
press
dizzy.
E on a wave and not have to waste rockets. Because every little Gatling gun ripples an AoE.
You can just prep the right rocket ready to go for that team fight as Kisei is keen for a little bit more fun. That means Corporal has to go in and tag team like a wrestler, back him up and make sure that LEG doesn't have the inline track to flank from behind. So Kisei gets to walk away and just hit that corrupting potion for a little bit of late game regen.
Chain's just missing there as well, but Auto, it really feels like they are starting to posture a bit more forwards, trying to, you know, puff their chest, staunch Mammoth back a bit. Only really one objective to play for presently, so with 3 minutes, you could see that's why they were perhaps positioning themselves more towards the blue buff of Mammoth's jungle. Corporal now playing by himself, however, has to be quite careful as the rest of Mammoth are protecting Mikru. Look at the rest of Order, though. They show Graves top lane right now 100%. They can try and dive Paprise. He's about to hit Mega, however.
Unstoppable Force goes out and he hits Mega. No, he doesn't. Again, the red bar is there, but he's just dead. Too much burst from mid and top. He must have been so close to hitting Sterix. There it is now. I was just going to compliment that Mammoth, despite not finding any kills this game, 2 item spikes really across the board. They'd pack a punch, but unable to find it.
Yeah, and they're going to lose 2 inner turrets, 1 in mid, 1 in bottom. And while you're looking at the shutdown gold on a turret and saying, that's nice, what does the bounty mean when you've just lost out on that trade regardless, as well as given away a kill?
Baron.
We really, really are waiting. Oh, that was a flat flash force. And once again, Mikru having a shocker. No resistances, has been LeBlanc, and I think you can safely say Corki Blind has been punished.
Certainly has. 6 times in a row, won't be the charm this time. Kisei really wants to farm back-to-back MVPs, is seemingly what I'm seeing in this performance. As Order look to claim more square inches in this map that belong to them, assert their authority, and really look to showcase that, yep, we are up so much gold, so much objectives. Soul point up in a minute 30. No need to overextend ourselves just yet. It could be a Baron, it could be that.
Fimbulwinter is slows also apply the shield, or is it hard crowd control? Off the top of your head. I'm just looking at the Malphite build thinking, is it just the ultimate that procs the shield?
Off my head, I wouldn't know.
Because I feel like it's hard crowd control. But either way, that is the build Bio has opted towards. Perhaps just to have the tier and complete it into a full item. It is quite a nice item regardless. So the chainsword for Goodo while we're looking at items.
It's been creeping up a few more times, hasn't it,
Certainly
today?
has.
We've certainly seen it. We saw it in the last game from the Naren top lane as well.
It's cheap and has ability haste. Yeah,
Yep.
2 really big things. Part of the reasons you see Imperial Mandate everywhere for certain champions like Swain, they are looking mid.
They're all in on this kill on towards Hooper right now. Everything laid down by LEG. Same with Voice as well. But Hooper still survives. He's kiting back. He sidestepped the collateral damage and the big one. Hooper, how on earth have you lived? And now can Order look to try and salvage something. Can they look to actually win the team fight, Rusty? Paprise shoves them back.
Oh.
Double kill for Goodo. Bio flashes away. Corporal still limping. Somehow, with broken bones, he's still keen to punch on. He's going to chuck out a hook. You just know it. But Paprise is forced to flash away. But where are you going? Because the entire team have swarmed around you. Yes, you get a kill onto Corporal. Why have you died there, Corporal?
Just didn't need to.
But it's nice.
He just didn't need to, but he did. He just can't be a Corporal Nautilus game without a death in there for some reason. But Order will be able to get themselves the team fight. Hooper, shield bow, wit's end, heal is there as well. Very tanky. And of course, Corporal comes in super early to keep him alive and save him. It was a force from Mammoth. I still feel like that should have been a kill onto Hooper, but either way, the decision to make that fight was matched and beaten by Mammoth regardless. They're going to teleport in here now. Mikru with Corki's package should be able to secure this. We'll see. Timing-wise, I feel like they get it fast enough.
All I learned from that exchange was that Mammoth are skill shot gaming. Because that
They
was the
missed
difference.
a lot of them, didn't they?
That was the difference between Hooper living and dying.
Graves ultimate and a Corki rocket. Very much unmissable on a crowd-controlled target, but they They took their chance on throwing it at the very end, thinking perhaps the kill was otherwise confirmed, and they were made to suffer the consequences. Gudu also played that fight brilliantly.
Did.
And now it feels like it's insurmountable. You took your shot. You took your shot while down about 6,000. Now it's 10. No Corki package. Micro level 15. Paprise's Mega Gnar ultimate didn't actually fling them into the wall as well. There's been a couple of really rough moments this game. It feels like mechanically we've had some jitters today across a lot of teams.
Certainly is crunch time though, isn't it? With round robin 3 not too far away. That's to look forward to tomorrow. It really is a case of if you don't hit your form now, time is ticking. You want to mount that late playoff surge with everybody still so close. Every win matters. And this would have been a big one, a big result for Mammoth. Down 10,000 gold and down to try and defend a Baron-inspired order. We've locked them inside 2 separate lanes. And I'm sure they'll hold them there for another minute because Kisei is godlike. It doesn't matter who you are, you will just get one shot. It's pure destruction. And Bio seals the deal by locking them down. That means the floodgates have opened, and 2 inhibitors just like that will have to fall.
And Corporal postures himself between the inhibitors as well to protect Biopanther, to make sure that Mammoth don't overcommit themselves. They don't. Rakan, Seraphine, neither of them will use their ultimates, and they'll just lose 2 inhibitors. Again, so apprehensive to make the plays. Mammoth do not pick an easy-to-execute composition. Order, in fact, do.
Yeah.
Mammoth make it really difficult for themselves. And then you start to fall behind with a difficult to execute comp. Who'd have thought? Difficult to execute.
Rough, really is.
We've got a lot of LPL skins, by the way, in this game. I don't know if you've noticed the observers zooming in on these recalls, but there's 2 FPX, 1 IG.
You see the signatures. Just waiting. Every time I see Kisei on my screen, I'm thinking, there's another kill.
I think there was an opportunity for a T1 Callista skin, but I think that's Marauder.
Missed the chains. Unfortunate. One day, there'll be no skin with a signature. Just you wait, mate.
An O skin with a signature.
Yep.
Maybe we'll get a Coach Hot Dog skin.
What did we mention before? Name tier lists?
I think Spawn's a good enough coach to win Worlds.
Yeah.
I'm biased.
Get it done.
I'll be the first to admit I'm exceptionally biased in that. But I think he is.
Need to bring back Rift Rivals. Get a skin for that, eh?
Hey, we won Rift Rivals already. We're overdue a skin.
For sure.
That's the case. This game looking like it is fairly doomed for Mammoth, right? They need to rely on something special here. But Kisei pressuring in mid lane is actually really significant because it means they can't just look at one lane. Biopanther and Kisei legitimately threatening the end. Not going to let Mammoth win a desperate team fight. Just keep them busy.
Mammoth are so fixated on defending their final inhibitor that ought to just basically walk in and take one of those Nexus turrets. Could work towards the second as well.
They don't continue pushing top lane for what it's worth, but the pressure is becoming a little bit large. Papri is about to lose his Mega Gnar, and I feel like it becomes super simple here for Order. From this point onwards.
Level 16 Corki, let's all pray and see if it can happen. Will their dreams be realized as Kisei jumps in once again to change the route, the damage onto LEG, who cops the most amount of shields you'll ever see. Seraphine, Rakan, and a Locket for good measure as well. Why not?
Order really aren't syncing these waves up either, though. They're pressuring at very different times. Biopanther and Kisei will go in. There's no wave pushing top lane. The real trade there should be that inhibitor is dead. But in reality, it was nothing. There was no actual trade. Instead, we've got to try and reset for Drake.
Paprice fancies it. Kisei forced to flash away from the Encore. That was coming out. And they're slowly defending and working their way, pushing out their invaders.
Bio now has to also prevent the recall being cancelled. Infernal Soul is up in 8 seconds. Order very late on the reset. Mammoth on the opposite side of the map here. Skimmy with 0 intent to contest.
I don't think they have the tools to try and go for that contest, right? You'd be looking at Voice and LEG for that primal engage. Those cooldowns just been burned.
Surely you just toss in the Dwarf Mayfun. Just make him smite steal it.
Just have a crack.
Just have a go. It's an Infernal Soul. I don't think you can afford to give that away
He's not
and
there.
still think you can win the game. I'm not confident in that decision.
He's gone to Baron. And
It's not up.
You're too early.
All they're going to get is vision, right?
He's tried to pre-order Baron.
And all the Order are going to do is clear that vision. There are 3 teleports from Mammoth. I feel like maybe they find an angle.
Paprise has to answer the bot first of all. Bio's going to look to try and push out top lane to give them a wave to prep to play from the Baron to end.
It's also really hard to answer as Paprise to a side lane push of super minions because you can't control your mega transformation if you want to clear that wave. So
Yeah, it's
he's
getting
going to
close.
tick over, and he chooses to let the supers push to not tick over to Mega Gnar. Mikru or Voice are actually going to be the ones to answer it so they can control their Gnar bar better. Order now hitting the Baron, unbeknownst to Mammoth.
And look at this. I mean, Kisei really is the Undertaker. He's completely zoning him. You could have vision or you could not. But
Who's
you
going to
just
face
can't
check?
step in.
Who's going to face check at 7-0 LeBlanc
Nah,
with Infernal Soul?
there's no way. And with a Magi's.
And so now instead of contesting and just flipping the game at the Drake, we aren't going to contest and flip the game at the Baron. We're going to give away both. Now what? Skibby? Now what?
Right, here we go. Level 16, Corki, package. It's all happening here. We've seen Mikru do this before up against Peace. That had a KO, however. This one does not. But can we believe in a little bit of deja vu happening up against a very different team? It's going to be such a tall order. Excuse the pun. 12k down, Baron, Infernal, and one-shot potential across the board for any of these carries to showcase. The hook so close to landing. In goes Ali G, but out goes Corporal, chucked away. And that's just pure destruction. Ali G destroyed. A double kill for Hooper. This is a little bit too easy with those reigns. In goes Bio, crashing down like Paprise slams them to the wall. He gets taken down. It's an ace. It wasn't really a contest. And it's a perfect ending for a perfect game.
A triple kill for Hooper. Order just be able to walk forwards here. Clean team fight from the whole squad. Clean Nexus take from them as well. And we're still left pondering when Mammoth will find their opportunity to contest because Order were just too clean.
So they were too clean on the occasion, and really from start to finish that felt like a bit of a masterclass from the Kisei LeBlanc. It really showcased just what an early game lead can look like, what it can translate to, and just how strong by the latter points it was. Rabadon's complete, Magi's with 20 stacks. I mean, nobody can face check that, and at that point of the game, I mean, Max, surely it's the most fun you're ever going to have as an AP carry.
Oh, you'd have to say so. They were looking like they were having fun. I was just waiting for that point when Mammoth was going to do something. Never came, unfortunately. There were moments where things got close, but again, look, Kisei was just stopping them from wanting to exist anywhere because you put a foot wrong, he's lurking in a bush, boom, boom, bada bing, bada bam, you're dead. And that was essentially it. Order really just winning in the draft, I'd say. It seemed like they knew exactly what they wanted to do, what they needed to do, and they executed everything brilliantly. There was no real flaw to the plan there.
You know, Mac, you say that Mammoth didn't do anything in the early game, but I actually want to give credit to Order that they actually shut down this Graves extremely well, where he wasn't able to farm, and that actually affects Ali G and how he's not able to roam and play for other lanes. So that's why they really had a rough early game. But I am enjoying this new Order because we see the Guro and Kisei dynamic evolve into something like this, where Kisei is really enabled to his absolute potential on this LeBlanc, and we've seen it 2 days in a row. And Corporal, he's also kind of shifted where he is playing more towards that mid lane because of Puma's absence. So that's why Kisei has really become the star that we see now. And yeah, I think this is just an overall really clean game. Obviously, Biopanther getting that solo kill on Gnar, a ranged champion. Pretty amazing for that as well, because Biopanther was kind of known for being a weak side top laner who was able to get solo kills. So don't disrespect the veteran himself.
I thought with how Hooper was playing that he had a gap at bot, but at the same time, like Voice pretty much kept up in CS, was just wave clearing up a storm when they were stuck in base there, but at the same time, have a cracker. That 30k damage for Kisei in 35 minutes. Just not a K a minute, but that's still pretty damn good, isn't it, Skimmy?
That's so good. I mean, yeah, if you're certainly hitting the 800, 900 DPM, you're really pumping as a carry. So certainly back-to-back performances for me. a fair shout to say that, you know, I deserve to be MVP. Maybe this LeBlanc needs to be looked at and addressed, or even just the Corki with these scaling mid-majors can't be drafted for free because they will get punished.
Yeah. Hitting him with the wallet again, like 15k, gold lead, 14k, whatever that is. Bloody, that's a lot.
And we do see the Seraphine for a 4th time for today. I mean, in this game, it was ADC, where Voice was playing something quite uncharacteristic of him. He wasn't able to get those early game leads where I would have, Mammoth gets those early objectives, because yes, they drafted scaling once again, but they don't have that early game security from Voice because he's on a Seraphine.
Yeah, and you guys were talking about it in the draft as well before we went into the game, where Kalista paired up with the Naut, allowing Corporal to go back on the Naut duty, which we theorized he was banned from for a little while there.
Man.
There was a little
Why?
moment where he got charmed and almost drawn into that tier 2 turret, but Hooper said, nah, pulled him back on the leash and saved him. But then I actually noticed he was the one that threw him back into the fight when he did die in that other fight you were just talking about as well. So
that's his choice, though.
It's Corporal's choice, to be fair. To be fair.
Okay.
Send me back in, Chief.
Yeah.
We're going for
He
gold.
said toss me in and then immediately got one hit.
I'd say meteoric improvement, though, on the Naut. So
Huge improvement here, 1 death.
Yeah. I mean, he also played really well with Gudo, and like if there's one thing to take away from the team, like Kitty was saying before, it's the fact that the mid jungle and support were playing really well around controlling the map and just shut Mammoth out.
yeah, it was interesting. How, like you guys also mentioned it during the cast, we were mostly observing mid, I would say, for more than 50% of that game.
Yeah.
Because that is where most things were happening. We'd occasionally dart down to bot, have a look at the jungle. What's going up at top? Not too much. Little solo kill, little solo bolo. After that, bam, straight back to mid. And all eyes on there. You really have to feel for Mikru. He just couldn't get any lane pressure. And after that first kill, Kisei just knew exactly what he had to do to win every single time.
I mean, I was just watching him literally sit back with rockets literally halfway off the screen in a lane saying, okay, that's how I'm going to CS now. And like, yeah, okay, great idea in theory, especially with a Ravenous, because you can obviously shred it down AoE style, but otherwise, you just step up to wave and Kisei's just one-shotting you. So it was basically like a bit of a horror film by the end.
Yeah, it certainly was. And someone that may or may not like horror films is Gudo, and we have him for a chat as well. Gudo, do you love horror films or do you hate them?
I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I just watch it. Yeah.
True.
Well, horror games give people nightmare, and I'm sure that you guys, on the Wukong specifically, gave Mammoth nightmares for tonight. So congratulations on your win, Gudo. You guys are solidifying yourself in 2nd in the standing. But I do want to mention that this new order we're seeing is so much cleaner. So what do you think, where do you think the improvement has occurred, and why you guys are so clean?
I think everyone is like just good player. We just need to stick together like time, because like apparently they went to MSI and we didn't have much time to scrim, and obviously I just joined. Like this is like kind of new lost or split 2. Like this is just what we expected, like start of the split 2, and we're just being happy if we get just more stable.
Okay, now talk to me about this game in particular. I want to know about that Malphite lock. Is that just a bio special? Did he know that he could just take Pappy even though Pappy was on the Gnar there?
Yeah, sure. Like I mean, like if Bio just wants it, Bio just pick it. Like even though there's like Pep 10, like there's like veteran, you know.
Bio pick, bio play. But I do want to mention that you guys are 2nd, obviously, in the standings. And we had a discussion earlier where we don't know who's going to be the actual 2nd for the very end of regular split. So who do you think is going to be the main contender for your spot?
For the 2nd, like I don't know, it's such a chaos, because like I just looked at I was versus PGG. I thought like PGG gonna win, but that was just won. Like the standing is like I was just chaos. Like Kanga just like looks decent on these days, and I actually don't know who's going to play off on like 5th place. So I don't actually know who's gonna be contender 2nd place. We just keep. I think we'll just be like just 2nd place. Just like no one gonna be 2nd place instead of us.
Okay, well, I think that's a very good outlook to have. Now, Gudo, we're going to let you go. Enjoy the W, and we might see you tomorrow if you win.
Thank you.
Always good to chat with the big man, rumbling it up in the jungle on the Wukong today. Getting some pretty good ults in there as well. Unfortunately, he also copped a death, but you have to put your life on the line when you're the initiator, right?
Yeah, someone's got to do it, you know. when the jobs are on, you get it done for the boys, and you make it look ever so clean. What was the final score? It was like
You
9.
can't help yourself, can you?
I told you I'd get it in once
I
at least
know you
today.
will.
I think it was like 19 kills to 2. It was like so clean, right? So certainly as a Wukong, you say, look, I've landed the biggest cyclone. Get it done. Let's win. So that's what they did.
Anyway, now you've got that out of your system.
Thank
Dare
you.
MVP time.
Kiss A.
Kiss, yeah, I feel like Dare MVP
just put
was
it up.
Kiss A, and now I believe he is actually leading that leaderboard that we looked at the start of the day. So 8-0-4, clean game again, just pumping up that KDA, 66% KP. But look, a lot of solo bowlers in there, and 42% of the damage. That's a big number, Kitty.
That is a big number for a big man in that mid lane with his 20 stacks on the Medjais. I think his LeBlanc is actually so scary because LeBlanc isn't a meta champion, but he somehow makes it work. So it's pretty insane. Like, do lower teams just need to ban out this champion because they don't know how to deal with it?
I think LeBlanc is
Maybe?
pickable in competitive, and I've seen it. I think it was in the LCS as well the other day while I was watching. But it's more like, it's not that you have to ban LeBlanc, it's that you can't blind pick Corki. You know what I mean? Like,
Can't just scale for free,
yeah,
like
you
Mam
can't
said?
just scale for free if they have a Wukong LeBlanc. It's crazy.
Are you sure you're telling me that? You get punished early
Chemistry.
game.
Nah.
Chemistry, composition, wombo combo, happy feet. That's what you want to see in a
That
play
ain't
of the
Falco.
day. Do we have any? Do we have any plays of the day? I didn't want to strive into different games, but here
Well,
we
it ain't
are.
that.
Play of the day for this game, for these games today in League of Legends.
Mm-hmm.
Any takers? Any heavy hitters? Any rememberers?
I'm going for the Tapoon triple.
Tapoon triple?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, bang on the money. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what we picked. And let's have a look. I could be wrong, but if I'm wrong,
might be
I'll
wrong.
own it.
You might be.
It is the
It-
Tapoon
It is the Tapoon triple. I think he goes.
It might be the Kanga team fight win with the Renata ult.
This is the Renata roll, isn't
Oh,
it?
is it
might
the Renata
not
ult?
be the Tapoon triple. It might be the
Well,
Wombo.
Tapoon TP's in on the Herald.
Is this Kanga
Does he
kill
get a
4?
triple here? He
Kanga
goes a
kill 4 and
1v2.
lose no
No,
one, right?
he actually just dies.
Oh, he does die.
Limas
Oh,
dies
it's a
to
1v2.
Tapoon and then actually comes back from the Renata W. So.
Anyway, play
this
of the
is
day was from the same game, at least.
You need to mention
Um,
that Tinksy got a 3-man ulti here.
Yeah.
Kind of nuts.
Kinda
TNC's
nuts.
clutch. This whole game, actually, TNC was wild.
Yeah.
He was really good.
Definitely one of the better Renata performances we've actually seen so far in the LCO for sure.
Yeah, and they actually challenged Chiefs to be 14 and 13 at, I believe, mid-game. So that's still really impressive, even though they didn't win at the very end.
And look, I was wrong going into the play of the day, but I'm glad I was wrong because we got to discuss what it was and have fun and talk about who does good things, who does bad things, who wins, who loses. Look, well, that's today done. That felt really quick.
That did feel really quick.
Feel pretty quick.
It really did. Now, let's have a look at the standings, see where all the teams are sitting on the scoreboard on this leaderboard. 14 and zip. And as Skimmy mentioned earlier, that is the cleanest streak I believe we've seen so far in the LCO.
Yeah, the biggest win streak ever in LCO.
Order sitting pretty in second. Thought Direwolves and Peace might have caught up to them today, but of course, they took down Mammoth. And PGG now down in that 5th position, which will be an interesting one to see how they go into tomorrow. Kanga still just one win away from catching up to that 5th position. And with the performance we saw from them against Chiefs today, I'd say that is entirely achievable. Now let's have a look at tomorrow's games. We'll see what's going to be on the damn menu here on the LCO, delivered by Menulog.
Look at that third game.
Order,
Max. Look at that third game.
Gravitas. Ooh. Yeah. Oh my.
Bangers.
8 p.m. We'll skip to the third game. 8 p.m. PGG up against Kanga. Look, match of the week is actually that 4th one, but in my head now it might be that 3rd one. We got Dials, we got Peace there, rounding out the day at 9 p.m., which is that match of the week. Make sure you don't miss it. Should be a banger unless we get a crazy old Peace, which we saw today. Kicking things off back to the top of the day here, 6 p.m. We got Grab, we got Order, and Chiefs and Mammoth. So essentially they have swapped opponents. And it seems like, you know, when you're talking about the strength of schedule, Rusty, this is where you see, you know, a little bit of a gap between the lower scoreboard teams against the top scoreboard teams.
There are some teams that have a really straightforward start to their round robin runs as well, right? Where you would say 4 easier games into 4 harder games.
Yeah.
Like this week, for example, Order actually goes Mammoth into Gravitas, so they're very happy with their week. And for someone like Hooper, who's new to the league, might be able to actually find some consistency and find his feet to get rid of those nerves.
I just remembered, That is the start. So that is the end now of the second round robin. That was the last day of games for that. But tomorrow is when we get to see each team play each other for that third time. So we'll see how they've adapted, how they've changed, how they've bloody evolved as well. You guys, you evolve in terms of your content. We got from the fans. We've got a couple to have a quick look at as well. We asked, what silly mistakes were you making when you first started playing League of Legendos? And JB has said, for my first PvP game ever, I locked in Ari Jungle because that was the champ I used in the tutorial. Fair enough. My team was super supportive and helped me kill Blue Buff and Grom. That's so nice. That's so kind.
That's really wholesome.
It is wholesome.
But I
From
do
then,
wanna-
you're on your own.
Yeah. Where do I go?
I'm
Who
still an
knows?
Ari.
I have a complaint. Why doesn't Riot Games allow for Flash when you first unlock an account? You need it. You need to
Too
be like level
advanced.
9.
Too advanced.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to
I don't know.
disappear. You just have to learn these things. It's a spell. You have
Goes
to
teal
get
only.
powerful. We got another couple to have a look at as well. Jazz Lottie, my mate. I remember the first time I bought a recurve bow, thinking my character would get ranged attacks and equip it on their player model.
Banger.
That's kind
Aw.
of cute.
That's good.
I reckon, that's fair enough as well.
I'm down for that.
As a little newbie. I think we've got one more to have a quick look at as well. What do we have? Kaz. Start of every game, ID only. Buy 5 health potions since 5 is the max. I'd have bought more if I could.
You're true? If you
Oh,
keep
ID
buying
is
health-
actually I'd. Like, I would
I'd.
only.
I
Yep.
would.
Oh,
Anyway,
Was the maximum
that
always
got me.
5?
I think it was
Because I
5.
think there was more tech where you would have like way more.
Really?
Like
Oh,
early,
really?
I'm thinking like
Got punctuation
prehistoric
gaps.
era of League.
I was channeling my inner Praedyth. I don't know if you watched that interview piece with him and Rogue earlier, but he was reading some words funny, and I just
Oh
got
yeah,
done
he
by
was-
it.
he was
Done by it as well.
good actor.
Sure.
Either way, that's it for day number 1 of week 7. We got a second game. We've got 4 more games to get to, but
Let's
of course
do more.
that's tomorrow.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm ready.
Kimmy loves it.
I'm ready. Rusty's keen.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
for sleep?
Both.
Yeah?
Both.
Beautiful. Well, I'm out of here. That's it for today. Ladies and gents, love you very much. I'm out. See you tomorrow.
Spawn quite nicely, right? He's going to respawn. He can TP in for that Drake fight that's about to begin, but Volkan is just jumping in on his own. His team are so far away. Moonlight Vigil just out of range. Even with the flamethrower, he's attacking and he's removed Yuri from the equation. Now he's going to fight himself a second as Direwolves have just completely lucked out in the last 5 minutes.
They are flipping this Drake.
They certainly are. Lisa's going to jump in, looking to try and lay down that fight right now. Tien jumps to the backline uncontested, touches Thomas Shen. The Dragon, it's going to be stolen away. I don't believe it. Lisa's got that. Infernal Soul won't be up to play now. And now Lena just destroyed. A
Yeah.
2-man kill for Tien. He's giving us a bit of a masterclass as has to play a Riven in this game. Violet gets a kill. He gets retribution, but Thomas Shen is still alive. And from the top
They're
side as
going.
well. In they jump, starts off of Aladoric right now. Oh no, it's all got on top of Arthur. That's not what you want to see. He spikes the Baron for a little bit of life, but it's not enough. To put in Aladoric seeming to be the focus right now.
bit
Chiefs
mega.
are split apart. Tapoon's going to take out one. The rocket doesn't connect. He leaps into action to find a second. And Rusty, that's what he's going to get. Now going to get a third. Fawn is only now going to come back to try and showcase what he can do, but he don't mess with the Korean demon that is Tapoon. A triple kill for his Nar. In goes LEG, but out goes Corporal, chucked away. And that's just pure destruction. LEG destroyed. A double kill for Hooper. This is a little bit too easy with those brains. In goes Bio, crashing down like Taprice slams him to the wall. He gets taken down. It's an ace. It wasn't really a contest.
Hey, look, menu bomb.
Well, what? Trying to hit the high note. Kitty, can you hit a high note?
Oh God, what are you doing?
Let's bring up into the interview. Oh no, someone save
my.
me from
He
this
played
segment.
Seraphine.
Take it away, Mac.
The
Save me.
Seraphine sings. She sings. Do you get it? Appy, you get it, right?
Yeah, I know what you're doing.